Welcome KPB Plus, solid everywhere.
All the love inside away.
We cannot go wrong. Pastor just told me, no weapon formed against us. And you know the rest. No weapon ever formed against us will ever stand. As long as we put God in front and we walk behind. So thank you for joining us for this Monday night report. I see all of you turned out, but there are thousands also listening to us and watching us on the various platforms. So we are not alone. Each one of you here, remember always, we are never alone. On August 14th, a very important day, we will all go to the polls. And do you know what you will be voting for? Can you say what you are voting for? I will show you what you're voting for. Please look at the screen. Of our children. You're voting for your family's future. So whilst we say vote UNC and vote PNM, we must bring it down to what really matters to us. And for everyone in this room and everyone listening, the most important thing is our family. And the most important part of any family are what is the children of that family. I heard Rodney speak about it earlier tonight. He talked about your grandchildren. So your children and their children. And you hold their future in your hands now. We are at a time, we are at a crossroads where that falls squarely in your hands. When I was in Myra last week, I said, close your eyes, put your hands out, and imagine what you would like to have in your hands. And then when I said, open your eyes, what did you see in your hands? Did you see a laptop? Did you see a mobile phone? Did you see an orange? I said, no. What you hold in your hands is the future of the children of Trinidad and Tobago. So when you go to vote, think about that. Don't think about the 5 days or the 10 days or the HDC house. Don't think about the all the negatives that come at you. Think what is best for the children of our nation. That is what you have to do. Don't worry about the screen, you know. I am still here. You can see me without the screen. That screen is only for people who can't see, who are way out in other bits. So they'll fix it. I'm not worried about it. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Yes. UNCN proud. UNCN proud. Last week, in preparation for the local government elections, we held screenings at our headquarters. We will continue with screening persons this week. It was so heartening and inspiring. Those of you who came, some visited, some were actually screened. It was a tremendous exercise. So many people came out in support, and of course nominees to be screened. There were so many persons who came out. So we've been going, we start about 4 or 5 in the evening. And sometimes we go up to 4 or 5 in the morning. And you know why? The response has been tremendous. So many persons have come forward to offer themselves. I have seen so many bright young people, so many not so young bright people too, mature people. We have seen a lot of women coming forward, and it has been wonderful. So take a look at the screen for those of you who were not able to share those days with us. And what I've learned from that exercise that we began, and we have to continue, is that the future of the UNC is brighter than ever. So thanks to all those who came forward. And whilst the future of the UNC will be bright, we must consider people who are unrepresented. We must consider people who have no voice in Parliament. And I know that the UNC is strong, but we can use our strength to uplift all, those without a voice in the Parliament. There's a percentage of our population who do not vote because they do not feel they belong in the UNC or in the PNM. I accept that. That is their right to choose. They're left unrepresented because they believe their vote will not matter. The PNM will never work with these persons because the PNM only cares about PNM domination. The UNC is the only national party who would welcome them and say, let us work together. We have done it before. We have brought disparate groups to come together to form a mighty force to unseat and remove this wicked PNM government. And tonight I make an appeal, let us all unite and come together to remove the wicked Rowley government. Tonight I tell you from this platform that we have been holding discussions with other groups. And I'm letting you know that we will begin further discussions in the coming weeks with any one of the smaller parties who are willing to fight the local government elections together with the UNC as a united force. If we can achieve this and work together over the next 2 years, this local government election will be the first step towards the next big step of removing the Rowley government. So, We can also look at fighting alone, but we will have the discussions and then make a decision to go forward. I have to do this. The pain today of seeing my constituents and so many others flooded out again is just too much to bear. Children had to go to school today to write exams. The Cape and the CXC flooded out. The Minister of Education is nowhere in sight to tell these children, look, if you could not reach school to write your exam, we will take a decision to ensure you have a fair chance, an opportunity to write the exams. They were nowhere to be found. Nothing coming out of the government. I want to thank all our councillors, former councillors, all the men in those regions with the floods. They came out, they were there with the people, helping people, and to say, thank you to the UNC, thank you. And so when I see the suffering, not just in my constituency, when I see it throughout the length and breadth of this land, we have to do something, to do the best we can to remove this wicked, incompetent, lazy government. There is too much suffering in this land. You know, sometimes I say I'm tired. The fight never ends because the pushback is so tremendous, because the PNM is so intent on holding on to power without delivery and responsibility. Rodney talked a little about that tonight, MP Charles. Talked about the domination by the dollar. But you God-fearing people know about 30 pieces of silver. I don't have to tell you, we all know, whether you're Christian, Hindu, Muslim, we all know 30 pieces of silver to buy persons. And that is what the PNM is hell-bent on doing before the election, on election day. And so therefore we warn you, do not sell your soul for 30 pieces of silver. Why? Because then it's the suffering for everyone else that will befall this nation, should we feel that we could sell out 30 people. Some of you may feel UNC should run this thing alone. Of course the UNC can run it alone, and we will if we have to. But how much greater can we be? What a joyful noise we'll make unto the Lord if we all come together united to fight this wicked government. What a greater battle and victory that would be. If we can achieve, as I say, and work for this local, that is step one to the bigger step, the final step to remove the PNM. I tell you, and I saw that flooding today, my heart goes out. Why is it does this happen under our watch? We had done so much had been done to help with the flooding issues, to help with the job issues, every issue, everything has collapsed under this government. So my friends, I have told you before and I repeat it tonight, who vex laws? I will not allow the UNC to descend into, again, a party of class, of caste, of family dynasty, of social status. I remain here to protect the children of the rank and file, the ones I have promoted. Like a good mother, I will defend my children to death. I will never let them be used and abused as our parents and grandparents were used. And after we win these local elections, and then next step, the general elections, whether we do it united or alone, one of them, children of the UNC, will lead our great party, and I will be able to rest. At least two smaller parties have approached us. Discussions have begun. Some of my senior members have begun discussions with them. If we can come to an agreement in time for this next local, we will fight as a united force, capable and ready to take on the PNM. But I'm drawing a line in the sand. I will not tolerate any disrespect to UNC members from anyone. who wants to come forward to work with us. Excuse me, we have to and we will work together for the entire country of Trinidad and Tobago. So here we are today, on the cusp of another election. And here we are, you're fed up and living in constant fear. I know you're all tired of living in fear. Constant fear of murders, constant fear of school violence, constant fear of home invasions, constant fear for your child's safety, constant fear of job losses, constant fear of high food prices, constant fear of flooding. Grande escaped today, but we know what happens up here once the rain drizzles. What happens up here as well with the flooding? Yes, yes. No dredging, no cleaning of the rivers, constant fear of flooding, as I say, constant fear of high bills to pay, constant fear of losing your home, constant fear of being unable to afford health care. So fear and stress are dominant in the minds and in the hearts of most of our citizens in this country under this government. I want to tell you, it is the UNC hope and plan and vision and mission to secure Trinidad and Tobago for you and together with you. We are focused on the future. The UNC is about giving you peace of mind and happiness. We'll work and free you from this constant fear terrorizing families in our land. We created a national economic transformation plan, and we can have them put it up there for me. National Economic Transformation Plan. We'll not go into all the details tonight, but it has to do with creating jobs, growing revenue streams, so that the country will have money to provide the services and goods that you need. So there is our plan. You don't just come here to talk. We do have that plan. We'll share with you. It's based on data and proven strategies. We created business, anti-crime, education, healthcare plans, and I see now that the media actually started to print some of them. They had ignored them for a while, but then we have a visionless government with no plan for your future. We will secure your lives with people-centered policies and free you from fear. By standing your ground and voting for you and the UNC in the upcoming election, you will take your first step, as I said, towards reclaiming your safety, your security, and peace of mind. That is what you deserve. So what the UNC is offering? The UNC is offering, first of all, secure communities. Everybody supports restarting community comfort patrols in your communities and surrounding areas. Everyone supports restarting community comfort patrols. This is what the UNC is offering. We are also offering secure schools. We see the municipal police in each regional corporation. We can utilize them so your children at their schools can be safe and secure. The government had promised, Joe Tony mentioned it, they had promised municipal police 2 or 3 in a corporation, some have 20. I am saying we can do 2 things that way. We can utilize municipal police per regional corporation to keep our children secure and safe in their schools. And the second thing we can do is to secure jobs, because we can then hire more municipal police officers, thereby creating jobs. Secure streets. We support a nationwide plan to restore and improve street lighting in your community. We must take back control of our streets. Everyone supports increasing legal gun ownership for you, law-abiding citizens of TNT. I said secure jobs, expanding the municipal police by creating 1,000 jobs that puts police boots on the ground in your communities. secure homes. You being able to defend your family is a human right. We support stand your ground law to defend your home from home invasion and from criminals. We offer you secure neighborhoods. UNC councils, corporations will support your request to secure communities with gates or barriers to restrict non-local traffic, secure playgrounds, and enforce noise pollution laws, thereby securing your neighborhood. Secure our economy. We'll scrap the property tax. We will scrap the property tax. Stop the upcoming inheritance tax and jumpstart investment with lower taxes. You should not pay more taxes. You cannot tax a nation into prosperity. You will always fail. So this government, since they came, is tax, tax, tax. I know they have a way of saying there's tax in your waist and tax in your face and tax everywhere else. I wouldn't say the words here tonight. So it's there about taxing. We are not about using. During my term in office, we did not impose one new tax, not one, you know. These guys put tax on tires. They put tax on online purchase. They put tax on any and everything. Which one again? The tire tax, the online tax. Business levy. Tax anyway. Their way is about taxing. Our way is about diversifying the economy with our business plan to create more money. So we don't have to tax you to death. We can create jobs at the same time and diversify the economy. So these are some of the things that we're offering. And their thing now, their great latest sliced bread, as it is the property tax. My colleagues spoke of it before. This property tax is like the beginning and end of everything. Property tax will give you better roads, will give you better everything. That is their answer, and I want to say just a few words on it, because he's now forcing this tax on people because they have destroyed the economy. They have destroyed it. Let us look at what this man had to say. This is the same man, you know, 2015, when he came to win election, this is what he had to say on property tax.
The last general election was that property tax. Where in the PNM's manifesto is this addressed?
It's not in the document. This is one of the things we need to talk to people about.
Let me take
Just
that.
like
let,
the
let
other
me take
thing.
that one. I'm glad you raised that. I heard a UNC minister, I think it was the famous Prakash Ramadar, telling people that the PNM will bring back the dreaded property tax. Let me make it abundantly clear. The property tax has already been dealt with. So for anybody in the government now to be telling the population that this PNM coming into office will bring back that tax is the highest level of dishonesty, which has been the hallmark of this UNC government. So I'm
proudly saying anyone claiming that bring back property tax is exhibiting the highest level of dishonesty. Play it again. You have to listen to this again. In his own words, I'm not making it up. In his own words.
Contentious issues in the last general election was that of the property tax. Where in the PNM's manifesto is this addressed?
It's not in the document. This is one of the things we need to talk to people about.
Let me take
Just
that.
like
let,
the
let
other
me take
thing.
that one. I'm glad you raised that. I heard a UNC minister, I think it was the famous Prakash Ramadar, telling people that the PNM will bring back the dreaded property tax. Let me make it abundantly clear. The property tax has already been dealt with. So for anybody in the government now to be telling the population that this PNM coming into office will bring back that tax is the highest level of dishonesty, which has been the hallmark of this UNC government. So I'm
highest level of dishonesty. This is how they lie and fool people. They tell you one thing when they're begging for your votes, and another when you give them the vote. He wasn't closing down Petrol, remember? National TV. Government is not closing down Petrol. In case you were closing or opening your fridge door, I'll repeat it. Government is not closing down Petrol. And then what? All went. Today, he claimed he didn't open a building that is actually a construction site. Well, Mr. Rowley, we will deal with you that in due course. Saddam is a bright lawyer, he's coming back for you. So we told him he opened this building in Diego Martin. It's not a complete building. So we will show your hypocrisy and your lies. You remember he didn't go to President's house, eh? Then months later he said it was he was the man who went in President's house with that Police Service Commission merit list. I want you to play the hard hat clip, please. Look on the screen again.
To my surprise,
Is it good?
yes, I am surprised. I mean, to my surprise, yes, I am surprised. I mean, because while I don't expect much from some of my colleagues, I really was surprised to see a press conference by the official opposition of Trinidad and Tobago telling the population that the Prime Minister should have been wearing a hard hat because he was in fact on a construction site and producing pictures to show scaffolding and worrying about my safety because things could have fallen on my head on the site. That is the official opposition of Trinidad and Tobago. Absolute, unadulterated lie.
The government is not closing down Petro-Trin.
Absolute, unadulterated lie.
And in case you were just opening your fridge and you didn't hear that when you closed the door, let me repeat it. The government of Trinidad and Tobago is not closing down Petro-Trin.
Absolute, unadulterated lie.
So this property tax, others have spoken, we will have more to say on it, but don't get shaken up and feel you don't have a property. You know, people say, oh, there's some fellas who have property. I don't have no property. I squat in. Do you know squatters have to pay property tax too? Did you know that? Squatters have to pay property tax too. Well, don't worry, I'm not a squatter. I don't own no property. I'm a renter. Really? When your landlord had to pay property tax, you think he paid it from his own pocket? So don't get chained up with these people. And then they tell us you could get exemptions. You hear lie? That's another lie. They say senior citizens and others who can't pay, you can apply for an exemption. It's not an exemption, no children. It is not, folks, it is not. You can apply for something called a deferral. And what that means, well, I can't pay it now. I have to pay it, and I can't pay it, and I can't pay it. And next to you, poor you pass away, a pensioner pass away. Because pensioners could get the deferral, they pass away and leave their children. That falls on their children, and then what happens? Children can't pay, you know what happens? They come into the house, they could pick up your TV, your fridge, your furniture, your motor car. They call it the strain on your possessions. And if they still don't get enough, what they could do, they could take your house and sell it. So don't get chained up with this. It's something nice. You'll get money from local government, and you can't believe a word they say. Don't believe a word. Because when they get that money, you think they're really going to give the regional corporations? That will go to pay rent for Faris and his family. That will go to pay for all the recusals of these government ministers, the 200 recusals. That's what this is for, not for you. Do not get chained up. Look at their track record. Look at their pattern of behavior. Look at the number of lies they have told you. How much time you'll get fooled like that again? You get fooled once, what do you say? Shame on you. You get fooled twice? You get fooled 3 times? Well, total shame on you. Total shame. Don't get chained up. So I want to warn you, this property tax. But I have received some information, and I'm asking if this is true. Tonight, I have to warn you that there's worse to come than their dreaded property tax. The property tax is only the beginning. I have been told, and I'm asking if this is true, that the Rowley P&M plans on imposing a 25% inheritance tax on citizens. Is this true? Tell us. I have been told, and I call on the P&M to come clean about this 25% inheritance tax. You know what that means? Your parents pass away. You pass away. You leave a little something for your children or your grandchildren. Before they could get it, you have to pay proper inheritance tax. How long have we been having discussions about this inheritance tax? Come out and tell us. Tell us. I want to see the slide now. Oh, look at the inheritance tax there. It is levied on the value of the inheritance received by the beneficiary. So whether you leave a $5, a $10, a $20,000, a $30,000, 25% tax on your beneficiaries. It is a tax you pay when you receive money or property from the estate of a deceased. Unlike an estate tax, the beneficiary of the money or property is responsible to pay the tax, not the estate. And so we're being told government to establish a threshold value under which no inheritance tax will apply. Once that value is surpassed, they'll put on the tax. So let's wait. Just remember, he wasn't bringing back property tax. He wasn't closing petrol. He wasn't. He was never doing anything. And then everything he said he wasn't doing came to pass. So let's wait and see. They are going to tax you even after you're dead. That's what it means, this inheritance tax. That's what. So friends, I want to tell Mr. Rowley, talking about LG reform, as I close, I call on him, don't tell us about reform. Others have shared with you, it's a sham. It's just to fool you once again. I want you to tell us about the refinery. Don't talk about reform. Talk about the refinery. Why you abandoned a multi-million-dollar asset which provided billions in revenue and tens of thousands in jobs. You close the refinery and fuel prices have gone up and up. About 6 times, I think they've raised fuel prices. I said, don't talk to us about reform. Tell us about the 250 recusals, which has you handed taxpayers dollars to your ministers and their family, friends. Don't talk to us about reform until you tell us when the people of this nation will get a refund for the 75 million taxpayer dollars wasted on a house for yourself, Rowley, in Tobago. Don't tell us about reform. Tell us when you're going to remove Hines, the sleeping minister, for the Minister of National Security. So reform will not change the PNM's reflexes of selfishness. It will not change a lack of care for the nation. They want to tell us about reform, but will reform change the PNM reflexes of selfishness and lack of care? Will reform change that Rory puts golfing? Put up the picture, please. Will reform change that his golfing patterns of behavior, he puts that in front of everything else? Show us that picture. Will reform change that? Will reform change the selfishness of people like Imbert, put up his picture. Will that change the selfishness of who took off the taxes out of yachts because he owns a yacht, maybe? Watch him there. Can you put a picture? But reform changed that. But reform changed the greed of the P&M cabinet. Put them up. Rohan land selling. Forest buildings renting. All the recusals. So reform is not going to change any of that. I say don't get fooled, don't get chained up. It will not help them. So we have the flooding issues. A lot of our country down in flooding. We have the plans for flooding. I will share with you on another occasion, because tonight we have a little later running of the meeting. I'm glad so many of you are still here. I sent out a press release today about the HSF records. The first time in our history, we have lost money in the Heritage and Stabilization Fund because of the mismanagement of the Rowley government, their failure to protect that fund. Almost 6 billion taka, is it 6 billion lost in fiscal year 2022. So we'll talk more on that. And as I say, in closing, there's only one way forward now. This is step one. Let us unite, let us come together. Let us work together for this local government election. You will get your candidates very shortly for Sandy Grande Corporation. You work with your candidates and the team here in your corporation. And let us put out whatever little differences you may have or personality issues, and let us just unite, because together we can overcome. I always tell you, with this finger, you have a tremendous power. You have the future of the nation in your hands. And with this finger, you can remove the P&M and you can vote in a caring party with a vision and with a mission to secure Trinidad and Tobago. So with your voting finger, come out on the 14th, cast your votes for the UNC. Don't tote, just go and vote. Do not tote, just vote. Vote UNC, UNC.